Welcome to The Digital Shift. We are your hosts, Jessica Green
and Natasha Robertson. Together, we are here to help you build a tech-savvy empire and take your business to the next level.
If you're an entrepreneur, social marketer, or business owner, ready to scale smarter, not harder, this is the podcast for you.
Every week, we bring you expert insights, actionable strategies, and the latest trends to help you infuse tech into your business so you can automate, optimize, and grow.
From mastering automation and creating high-converting systems to building authentic customer connections, we cover everything you need to shift your business into higher gear.
So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and get ready to make your digital shift.
Let's do this. All right, welcome back to The Digital Shift. What would you do differently if you lived like your time mattered? That's a powerful question at the heart of Before You Die, the brand and business built by a self-made hub member and accelerator graduate, Katrina Parrish. And in this episode of The Digital Shift, we're going to chat with her about her journey through the accelerator, what she's built, her full suite of assets and the systems for her business, but also the mission behind Before You Die. I heard about this brand. I talked with Katrina and I thought, man, really everybody needs what she has. Everybody needs this. So I want you to take a listen to her story. I want you to, listen to her journey. And also she has built all of her assets right here in the Self Made Hub. And I want you to hear from her what that's been like, what that experience has been like. So my guest is Katrina Parrish, and we are so excited to have you on here today. Why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about your story and why you...
Well, it started when my husband got sick. He became chronically ill. We saw it, and so we started changing the way we were budgeting and living. We had done Dave Ramsey years before, and we're just kind of Dave Ramsey-ish, not really doing all of the things. And then it started getting worse and worse, so we went ahead and got out of debt in November of 2014. We were debt free. I love it when it pops up on my memories every year to say, hey, this is the day you did it.
That's great.
In March of 2015, he called me and said, babe, I don't have a job. And so we lost 60% of our income and our medical insurance. And I'm like, praise God, we had started Dave Ramsey and got this done. Well, with losing the insurance, we still had the medical issues. So I started by putting together a paper medical notebook that had all of his doctor's information, his prescriptions, and anything that I could put together that would help us when we went to the doctor, was because it's a lot to try to remember my stuff, my kids' stuff, his stuff, my mom's stuff. So I had a paper notebook, which turned out to be great because we did go to the emergency room one time and they had no records for him. And he has now, used to, he only had one allergy. Now, because as you get sicker, things happen to your body. He has 6 allergies.
Oh,
so
man.
They had nothing. So thankfully, I had all the records. And I thought other people need this. So I was working on just the medical stuff. Then my mother-in-law passed. And when one of your in-laws or one of your parents passes, there's not a whole lot that you typically have to do. You don't have to deal with a house and all of that. You just help the living relative take care of things.
Right.
Well, then a few years later, my father-in-law passed. And that is when, because no one was living in the house, we had to go in. He had no will. He did have a durable power of attorney because me and my husband were the durable power of attorney, and no advance directives, no anything. And he liked paper, 2 offices full of paper.
Oh, no.
He had 4 kids. And all of their stuff was there. And he was an EMT. He loved journaling and all this kind of stuff. So we had to go in and go through every piece of paper in his house to find bank accounts, to find if there were, because at one time he had all these properties that he owned. So we had to figure out what he owned because he was very private. And after about the second day of this, I looked at my husband and said, we're not doing this to our kids. Because he's basically having to sit on the couch because he can't do all of that, but he can shift through paperwork while he's sitting there.
Right.
I said, not going to do this. So I immediately started working on putting something together because I work as a legal assistant during the day. and have done that for 21 years with an attorney who he used to be known as the bankruptcy king. Because if you had a complicated bankruptcy, he was the one you came to. He did the 11s and the 12s and all of that. Well, he has now refined his business to we only handle estate planning and probate. So I had seen it from this side and couldn't understand why people came in and said, I asked them, what is your parent own? What do they owe? And the answer was always, I don't know. And I'm like, how do you not know? How does somebody not know this stuff? And it's because their parents are usually private and
Yeah.
didn't discuss this with their kids. So, me, I'm all up in my mother's business. I know all this stuff and everything because we talk about these things. And she's had cancer a few times, so we've had to get real with some conversations and have those conversations that people avoid. And so we have developed it, and that is where it came from, was my husband getting sick, then my in-laws passing, and my mother getting sick. So I just keep adding to it so that it will help other people not have to go through the pain that I've gone through and that I've watched for 21 years. People coming in, I have tissues over here ready because they're going to cry because you're talking about someone they loved and they may be facing foreclosure on the house or the car being repossessed because they don't know who to pay or if there's a bill and all of these things that we can avoid. And that is what I have built into my Before You Die system.
Yeah, I mean, it's so powerful what you have, and just being able to walk through with you when you were in the accelerator program, all the different parts of it, you start to realize how much people really do need to have the service that you provide. I have a question for you. Where did you come up with it? I love your brand name because we were just doing some coaching on this yesterday. So many people are, especially with ChatGPT nowadays, so many people are coming up with all these cute names for these programs and all this stuff, but then somebody looks at it and they have no idea what they do. Yours
Right.
is so bold. What made you pick Before You Die? And where did it come from? What made you pick that brand? I love it.
Well, I love the name because of the fact it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
No one wants to talk about death. No one wants to talk about their money or them being incapacitated or disabled. So, we were sitting there, me and my mentor were talking back and forth about some of these things. And she's like, tell me what you do. And so we came up with several different things. And this is the one that I just kind of fell in love with because it's like, it's right there. There's no doubting what I'm trying to help you do. Now, some people think it is just about dying, but as some of my clients have learned, there's worse things than dying. You can become incapacitated and no one knows how to run your business. And I have one gentleman actually that was in a coma for 3 months and no one knew anything about his business. His wife had a day job. He took care of the business. He didn't have someone who stepped in because it wasn't a big business. So while he was in that coma for 3 months, his business shut down. So when he woke up, on top of all the medical bills and the rehab and everything else, he had lost what he had worked so hard for. And I have people where they didn't realize that there was a mortgage or I'll use the car because there was one, the lady never had any debt. Everybody knew her in town that she was debt free and things. Well, as she got older, she went ahead and financed a car. No one knew this. And for over a year, everybody thought it was paid for. Till one day there wasn't enough money in that bank account that no one knew about. And when they got home, the vehicle was gone. It had been repossessed for non-payment.
Oh my
And
God.
that means all of those payments, her down payment, everything she had done, it was over with. Just money thrown away because you can't get it back once they've repossessed it.
Right. Okay. So what would you say to somebody is like their first step to working with you? If 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 I realize I'm in this position and I have aging parents and I don't have a lot of their information, and gosh, what if something did happen, or not even aging parents? What if something happened to my husband? Where would you tell somebody to start? What's the first steps?
The first step is to sit down and think about, okay, if something happens to him, what would I need access to first? And that's usually going to be your finances because you've got to be able to pay your bills. You've got to be able to pay somebody to come help you, make sure your kids have clothes and that they can get to what they need for food and shelter and everything. And that is one of the first things I tell people to do. Let's sit down, let's talk. And I don't have a problem having a conversation with anyone. I love helping people do this because if I can help you, you're going to learn something and you're going to turn around and teach somebody else so that no one has to go through that. Because I've watched spouses where they can't get into the bank account because the husband or the wife had one main bank account and they always just transferred stuff into the bill account. Well, if you
Right.
can't get into that account, you can't pay those bills. But starting with that, and I usually, once I meet with them and I'm talking with them, I'm putting together a plan for them to say, okay, this is your homework to go do first, because this is where we need to do. We need to make sure that you have access to the money, that you have access to the medical information, and that you have the authority to make the decisions on behalf of your spouse before something happens. Because just because you're married doesn't mean you get to go in and say, give me the money, or
Yeah,
I need access to his records. You have to have legal authority.
absolutely. So if somebody wanted to work with you, do they find you? Do you host any webinars? Do you have any workshops? Do you have somewhere where they can opt in and do a consultation with you? How do you work?
I do all of the above.
Oh,
My
fun.
website,
How
yes,
do they
I
find
do
you?
it all. I have a website. It's beforeyouDie.com. And on there, I have where you can sign up for different things. You can get a free calendar that tells you to do the different steps that you can do. Or I do have a monthly newsletter that I send out that people can email for or sign up for. And I just send it to them each month. And it has little tips and tricks and things that they can do and stories to remind them of how quickly things can change. I do webinars. I do not have one scheduled right now, but I'm working on getting that done. I do have a workshop that if they join the workshop, they get a year access to the online questionnaires and a year access to me where we can work together. We have monthly Q&As. I actually have one tomorrow with the group. And that way I can walk you through and they can ask questions as they go through it.
Oh,
And
very.
everything has my email and my phone so they can message me. I'm easy to reach. I always tell people, if you don't hear back from me, please reach out again because life is lifing for all of us.
Yes,
It's
life
not like
is like
I'm not just sitting here waiting for everybody to call. I'm lifing too because my mother is sick. I have a sick husband. I have children and grandchildren, all of these wonderful things, but they take
yeah.
extra time. And, that's like I thought I had already sent you a message and forgetting to hit that little send button. So I tell people, listen, if you haven't heard from me in just a day or so, reach out because I probably thought I sent you a message because we have all of this information coming at us. We're
Absolutely.
expected to remember all of the passwords, all of our kids' allergies, all of our husband's medications, then the dog's medications, and all of these things. And it's no wonder people are stressed. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm working to help you not have to remember all of that you know right where to go, grab that information, and run and deal with the situation without saying, oh my goodness, I don't remember the password.
And you
Because
know
we've
what's so
all been
funny?
there.
People probably think, oh, I can gather all of that and put it together. But we don't. You do need someone who knows exactly what you need, where you need to keep it, the records you should have in a file, easy to access, and exactly how it should be organized. So, Katrina, I think you've created a phenomenal business. I was super excited when you decided to take the leap of faith and join the Self Made Hub. And then shortly thereafter decided to take our accelerator program for 90 days, which is, for those listening, if you don't know what our accelerator program is, it is a way to take all of your assets digitally, your websites, your funnels, your email campaigns, all of that, and speed up the process of getting it all implemented. And Katrina did just that. I still get your texts. I'm still on your newsletter because we
Yep.
test everything for all of our clients, right? And I just love it every time I get your stuff. That's really why I wanted to have you here on the podcast too, is because I wanted you to explain what your business model is and how you're helping other people. But I have some questions for you. At what point did you decide, you know what, I've got to take this online. I got to get a website up and running. I've got to get my assets all built. I got to get them organized to build the business.
Well, I knew I did my first workshop live, and it was only for like a 6-week period. Because what I did is I sat down with them and taught them through the same lessons that are still on my workshop. However, I didn't have time to go through and say, okay, do all of this. Okay, let's do this because 6 weeks is a lot. But I did tell them, okay, you have a year to call me, do whatever. but we only had 6 weeks of actually working together. And just think about the legal information, because a lot of people sign things and don't understand them. And when you say, oh, you need a will, do you understand what the will does, what the purpose of the will is? Because people think, oh, I have a will, I don't have to go through probate. That is the purpose of the will. The
Right.
will lets you do two things. One, tell them who you want to be in charge of all your stuff. Actually, three. And two, who's going to get your stuff. And the third one is, if you have minor children, who you want to be their guardian. And so that tells the court these three things. So that means if you have a will, you're going through probate. If you have an asset that qualifies to go through that. People don't understand that. People don't understand a durable power of attorney. So I spend all the time explaining these things to them and give them the information to make all of the decisions that they need to make. And we working through it, and I'm like, for the first class, I was like, they worked, they did all the stuff, but it was still a lot. They're like, okay, I'm gonna finish this part. And I actually had one little lady, I love her. I still message her. I messaged her the other day and she said, you're still talking to me? I love it. I'm so happy because I have questions. When she took my class, she actually took it 2 times. The first time, something happened, so she missed them. I said, just come back in the second one. It's no big deal. I'm not going to charge you for it. We're good. So she took it and she's like, Katrina, I just can't really get into this. I said, well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to have what you have put together. You've already saved more. You don't have to do probate, because she was going to have to do probate for one piece of property. So she paid for my course and she saved several thousand more than that just by taking that. I said, so if you do nothing else, you've made your money back. I said, and you're protected, but you can get the rest of it. She messaged me and said, you told me when something happened, I would get serious about this. I said, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
She said, it happened, so I'm serious now. And that's how it works, because if it's not a priority to us, we're going to push it to the back burner.
Oh, yeah.
But, and there are some things that's okay with. It's okay to do that and say, I'm going to use this. I always tell people I'm going to drive my van till the wheels fall off, because cars are expensive. And that's okay to put it off because you can go buy a new one. But if there is an emergency and you haven't put things in place to get them organized so somebody can pay your bills or somebody can step in and take care of you, there's no coming back and having that done if you are incapacitated or if you have passed away. So that's one of those things you can't put off. So I knew after having just those few go through, I need to do this so that they can have access to the documents, to the information, and go back and rewatch the videos and go back and redo the questionnaires. So it didn't take long to do that and realize I've got to do this. And that's when I saw yours and I said, okay, that is where I need to go, because they have, and the course thing was the exact reason why I started Self Made.
And you built a beautiful website. You've got a beautiful landing page. You've got an awesome email campaign, because I mean, out of a lot of our clients who've gone through the program, I get your stuff the most. I get your SMS strips. I get your email campaign newsletters. And so it was like watching you be able to go through that program, and in 90 days, you got a lot built. And it's still effective to this day because you're adding on to it, because I'm still getting those email and SMS strips and the little newsletter and the tips. So what was it like for you? Let me ask you this question. On a skill level, a lot of people come into our program and go, I'm not techie. I'm never going to be able to build all this. Where did you feel like your skill level was prior to starting? And was it too difficult to walk through the accelerator program? Or was it like, okay, I got this. I can do this?
Well, I had built my first website, and that was all by trial and error and a lot of clunky piecing things together and figuring things out, because they wanted a ridiculous amount of money, because I didn't need this big flashy website. I just needed one people could find me. And I'm like, I can't do that. And so when I saw your course, I'm like, well, I could do that. And then you said, oh, and we'll help you with your website. I'm like, what? Okay. And then you said, we'll do the funnels and all these things. And I'm like, funnels, okay. I hear people talking about it, but let's see what this is. So I didn't know how all of that worked. And so when I came in, I was still, but it was so much easy. It was so easy because of the fact that I could call you. There was 24-hour support. Listen, I messaged these people. I'm like, hey, this was working, and now this isn't working. I don't know what I did. And they're real good to say, oh, you did this, or there's a bracket missing, because it's a simple little something that I've overlooked. But now I can go in there and build the funnel pages and the funnels, the landing pages, and all the stuff, and know that it's going to work because I found someone who took the time to teach me. And if I have problems and I can't get the 24-hour support at work because it's a complicated issue, I can come on, is it Thursdays now?
Wednesdays, yeah. Strategy hour. Yeah. Yes.
So I can still go in there. So it's not like you go through the course and then they're like, oh, go do it. There's help for when I have problems because I have all these ideas and things I want to do, and y'all are willing to still help me.
Yeah, I love it. And I love what you built. I love your system. I love your business model. I think it's incredible. I think you're helping a lot of people out there. I can't wait to see the next time you schedule a webinar. You got to put all the automation to it and go out and collect those leads and get them in your system. So I can't wait to see you do another one of those. Make sure you get us all invited over here at Self Made so we can check it out and be there to root you on. But I just want to say thank you for coming on here today. We're going to drop all your links below in this podcast episode so that anybody who's looking for exactly what Katrina has to offer with Before You Die, you can click on those links. You can get scheduled for a consultation. You can grab some of her freebies that she has on her website and check it out and see if this is something that maybe you want to attend her next workshop or webinar, and you'll be able to be on her newsletter list so you can get her tips and maybe dig in with her and make sure that you get all of your affairs in order so that you have everything you need at your fingertips in case something happens to you or somebody that you love. Katrina, any last words that you want to share with the audience before we hop off?
Well, I am working on doing a printed version. That's what I was working on this week, and hopefully I'll have it out the next week or two where they're like, listen, I can do this by myself. Because like you said, you can take the time and do the research and build all the stuff, but are you going to?
Right.
So I figured out, okay, listen, if they don't want to have a year access to me and they just want to fill out the forms and do the stuff, I'll have printed versions that they can purchase and go do it and put it together themselves.
That's
and then
smart.
I'm going to work on building a community. So if they get the book and realize this is not enough, I need to be able to ask her questions still, then they'll be able to come in and ask questions. We'll do monthly Q&As and lessons, and they'll get access to all the little resources that I build while they're in the community.
Ooh, my whole, this is my tech brain going and business strategy brain, going, that is totally something you should do. So you can build community and the learning module right inside of the Self Made Hub. You can also build forms and surveys and all of the stuff so you can do it digitally. They can also order a copy from you to just have the forms to fill out. Having that community is so huge. I would absolutely do that if I were you, and have that monthly membership to your community so that they can ask you questions as they're going through all that. Or maybe they get it all filled out and they're like, great, I still want to be a part of this community because if something does happen, I always have somebody I can lean on or other people who are going through the same thing. So I think that's a great idea. Katrina, thank you so much for being on the Digital Shift today. Thank you so much for being a hub member and also being one of our accelerator graduates. I can't wait to see where this business goes for you. We are over here behind the scenes, always rooting for you and your success. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in to the Digital Shift. We hope today's episode gave you the tools and inspiration to take your business to the next level.
Don't forget, we have something for everyone to help you scale smarter. Whether you're just getting started or ready to go all in, we've got you covered.
Start with 14 days of free access to the Self Made Hub, our all-in-one platform to automate, optimize, and grow your business.
Looking for more? Check out our Self Made membership, where you can work at your own pace with help from your tech-savvy mentors.
Or take it to the next level with our 10-week accelerator program, perfect for those ready to scale with expert guidance and systems all in one place.
And if you're looking for done-for-you options, from custom funnel builds to fully done-for-you marketing systems customized just for your business,
visit us at www.self-made.biz to explore all of our programs and tools and find the perfect fit for your business needs.
Let's make your digital shift a reality. See you next time.